Good morning. So we are continuing the boat tour. This is 1988 Brewer 44. It's been our home for the last 8 years. And yeah, I thought I'd give you a tour of the inside of our boat and the things that work well for us. And yeah, so let's get started. We'll start up in the v-berth. So this is the smaller of the staterooms, the masters and the aft. Up here is the forward v-berth. So pretty generic v-berth. There's lots of storage underneath the bunk. Usually our asymmetric spinnaker lives down there, but we used it just the other day and we're gonna use it soon. So just leave it out for now. So lots of storage everywhere. Beneath the bunk, up in like I said, up underneath the bunk, accessed here, in the floor, these lockers here, and then we use a foam cushion to complete the bunk here to make a proper quarters. Up front here in the chain lockers, room for about 2 to 3 fenders plus the 2 anchor rods, so good room up there. So that's where we keep that. We like to keep the decks pretty clear, so anything junk we can get stowed up here we do. So that's where the fenders live mostly. Front head, pretty nice sizable front head. Also our water maker membranes. I'm pretty unapologetic about mounting equipment in accessible locations. So yeah, it's out, but you know, we don't have guests that often, and I'd rather have accessibility to the equipment if I ever needed to service it. Plus, to just minimize the installation, having everything out here. So easy to access, all manual control, 40 gallons an hour, makes a bunch of water, super simple, all commercially available parts, works really well. Love that system. Shower is just a shower in the head. You get the floor wet, and then it pumps out through the base. And I think that is it for the front head. So let's keep moving. Main salon, the general living quarters. It's a keel stepped mast. The mast comes through the deck. 2 bunks here, both slide out with the cushions that after these slide out, the cushions complete the bunks. You can sleep 2 more on each side here. We've done that before, and it works well when you have a big crowd. Also, of course, there's lead cloths on both sides. So, for instance, here, lead cloth comes out and goes over and clips on mounts to keep the people in the bunk. Great for offshore sailing, keeps you nice and secure and cozy in the bunk. Works really well. Lots of storage everywhere. Months and months of supplies and provisions we can store. There's all kinds of spare storage and everything in here. So when we left Miami initially, we counted 675 meals stored on the boat. So tons of storage throughout. We'll get to the big deep freezer in a sec. Let's see. Lots of good hand grabs. It's an offshore cruising boat, so you can move from handle to handle, grabbing as you go. Grab bars, really strong and secure. Lots of portholes. That's the other thing Brewers are known for. There's 16 opening portholes plus the big hatches to let lots of air in. Most hatches we have a seam netting that goes and velcros over the hatch, or elastic bands over the hatch to keep any bugs out. We also have different wind scoops to attach for lots of breeze. So lots of airflow, quite cool. In addition to that, for the windless days, we have 5 fans throughout the main salon. Galley, great U-shaped galley to port. Gimbal stove, of course. Lots of deep storage around underneath the stove to forward of it. We put in big fiddles around all the storage, so that way you can access all your things while on a port tack. Nothing slides out. That works really well. We do have a microwave. Our inverter is not big enough to power it, but still gets a pretty good amount of use when we run the generator, and obviously in port, we use that. Big freezer and fridge. So this is a deep freeze, and it goes all the way down to about here or so. Lots of cold food, sitting at 1 degree Fahrenheit right now, so very cold. Works really well. Fridge, it's top and bottom loading for the same box. You can see the kind of insulation you have in these things. So Really efficient, works really well, defrost controlled system, individual compressors. So if one system were to ever fail, we could actually just switch the compressors over with a few fittings, a few connections. So if the freezer were ever to fail, we could take the compressor system for the fridge, swap it, keep the freezer going, transfer the essentials over, and keep going without too much disruption. So that works really well. Lots of spices. In rough weather, we have the attachment points to put like a galley strap in to hold you in, but haven't had to do that in a long time. For fire safety, we keep a fire extinguisher real close, but I think more importantly is a fire blanket. If you have a food fire in the galley, you really don't want to have to reach for a fire extinguisher, because you're going to wait, because these chemical extinguishers, they're going to put it out, but it's going to leave a freaking mess everywhere. It's going to be dust, it's going to be hours to clean. So if there's a fire, you're going to wait to use this because it's really a last resort option. But a fire blanket, put that back later, is a totally reusable and non-destructive way to put a fire out. I don't want to fold it, but you just pull the blanket out. You can hold the blanket in your arms and just lay it over the fire on the stove, putting it out. It has no risk or damage to the surrounding area. So it's a really non-impactful way to put a fire out, and hopefully you'd use it immediately when in doubt. If there's any question, should I put it out with this or not? You just do it, not have to think about it. So fire blanket there. Nav station, great working nav station, VHF radios, weather receiver, extra VHF, battery monitor, solar charge monitor. So we're putting in 12 amps right now, so Claude just came over. We have our SSB radio, which works really well. We have a laptop running, which brings in, it has a separate antenna, separate from the main ship's antenna, so totally redundant. We also pipe in, we have an AIS receiver, so we can see the ships around us nearby and the AIS target information. We also have a tablet, just a Android tablet. Both are running OpenCPN, which is a really good, easy to use software program. Everything, all the functionality you need. So you see up here, we're tucked in this little hurricane hole for the coming up storm. And there we are. So use a tablet if we're offshore, use a lot less power. If we're navigating close to shore, we'll fire up the laptop and have them both running at the same time. So if one were to fail, the other one's running, ready to go. So yeah, we have VHF, handheld VHF, charged, ready to go in a holster. You don't have to dig for it, don't have to figure it out later. The batteries are just dead. You can just ready to go, easy to use. So that's the nav station. What else am I forgetting?
The hanging lockers.
The hanging lockers.
There's one in the v-berth and there's one in the main salon.
Of course, yep. Hanging locker forward, hanging locker main salon. Keep all the fall weather gear up here. Now obviously it goes all the way back to the outside of the hall, so lots of storage there. Air conditioners, is that worth mentioning? Seems like it's a good idea. Put 2 new air conditioners in, the one up in the main salon here. Mounted down here, the air sucks in, comes up through, blows out. The v-berth in the main salon. The new systems are so powerful, they use less power to circulate air through the whole boat. Work really well. Really good upgrade when we're living in Miami. So, all right, moving back. We have the workbench area. This is all tool storage. It's got all kinds of spare parts and some tools and all kinds of stuff spread throughout. This is technically charge storage. We use it for more parts. Power panel, we got the DC side, the AC side, some voltage and amperage monitors, generator control towards the aft, and that's about it here. Engine room, very important. Really take pride in a clean, functioning engine room. So, in the middle is a Perkins 4236. I have to say I was pretty lucky. I didn't know how good this engine was when we first bought the boat, but awesome engine. Have had no problems with it. Simple, reliable English diesel, slow turning, runs like a champ. Put a whole new steering system in, new fuel filter, Repainted the entire engine room. Went underneath the engine, painted the bottom of the engine pan, the bilge, behind the engine back over here. Stephanie hung all this wonderful insulation behind the engine room, all the walls around here. And we installed lighting, hopefully to illuminate all the nooks and crannies, so all the areas you'd want to see if you ever had problems, you have lights already installed, so it's really easy to see all the little corners. And if also light in the engine pan, so if there's any leaks or things, you see them immediately. So really clean, orderly. It's essential for a offshore cruising boat. And of course some artwork, so while you're in here you remember what it's all about, how to get out there and stay out there. Westerbeek 5 kW generator, perfect size for a cruising boat. You can run the air conditioning overnight well loaded, or you can fire it up and make hot water. You can charge the batteries and make fresh water with the desalinator all at once. Really simple, reliable Westerbeek 5 kW. Of course, oil change pump, different regulators for the high output alternator, and so on. So that's the engine room. Moving right along.
Batteries?
Oh, batteries, of course. Our house bank. We just replaced it a few months ago. Brand new Trojan T105s. It's yeah, super simple, reliable lead acid bank, but with all the solar we have, it's really they're perfect. They everything works simple, reliable, clean, works really well. So there we are. Moving back.
More hanging lockers?
More hanging lockers. This is for the master stateroom, so hanging lockers here and here. Lots of storage in there. The aft stateroom. So it's a huge bunk. Obviously at the head, it's wider than a California King. At the feet, it's about the size of a double. So it's a really spacious size bunk, works really well. We have lots of fans back here. When on the really hot windless days, we can move these fans around, direct them. I personally like a fan right on my face. We figured out Steph likes a fan not on her face because it blows the wispies onto, it keeps her up. So we can clip this there. We can have a body fan or wherever else we want it. So kind of keep a few roving fans around. Keep that there. We moved the air conditioner so that we have a rear air conditioner mounted underneath here. It used to be over on top of the engine in this locker here, and it really didn't work, so we sealed that up, moved it out of here, raised the settee height, mounted it in here, and have the air now get sucked in here, gets transferred up through some plenums in the locker here, and comes out over here. So the whole room gets circulated. Very cool. This is the air discharge here. So that works much better. Little counter, again, more fans, fan here, fan to blow air into the boat, into the cabin, mounted here. Lots of fans. In the tropics, fans are king. Now into the aft master. So sit down shower, another marine head. And I'll demonstrate the shower use. So you'd think it's a problem that it's not stand up, but actually if you're at sea sailing, that you don't want to be standing up. It's a lot more effort. If you're at sea and you want to take a nice shower, you can sit down. You don't have to brace yourself. You can hold yourself in, use the head. You can shower. You can also clip the head in here and lock it in place if you want to go hands-free. And so good offshore design, works really well. Yeah, this is the shower. So, what else have I missed, Steph?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, this is the interior of our beautiful Brewer 44. Thanks for coming along. Yeah, see you guys later.